Welcome back to my channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of coins, their hidden stories, and the unbelievable values that some of them reach due to errors and minting anomalies that turn ordinary pocket change into multi-million-dollar treasures. And today we're exploring one of the most mysterious and talked about coins of all time, the 1982 1-cent coin that has shocked the numismatic community with a rumored worth of a staggering $75 million, a figure so massive it sounds almost unreal, but as we unfold the incredible story behind it, you'll see how a combination of minting chaos, transitional metal changes, and rare human errors created one of the most intriguing coins in American history. The 1982 penny stands out as one of the most confusing years in U.S. coinage because it was the year when the U.S. Mint made a significant change to the composition of the Lincoln cent. Before 1982, pennies were made mostly of copper, about 95% copper and 5% zinc. But due to rising copper prices, the cost of producing a single penny began to exceed its face value, forcing the mint to shift to a cheaper alternative. So halfway through 1982, the composition was changed to a predominantly zinc core, coated with a thin layer of copper, reducing the overall copper content drastically. This transition, however, didn't happen overnight, and that's where things got interesting, because during this period, both copper and zinc cents were being minted, creating multiple varieties, confusion, and room for rare minting errors that now fetch astronomical prices. Imagine millions of coins struck using different dyes, compositions, and minor design tweaks all within 1 year. It was the perfect storm for mistakes, and the 1982 cent became a symbol of that chaotic transition. Now, while most 1982 pennies are worth just 1 cent, a few extraordinary ones have been discovered that have broken auction records and drawn attention from collectors worldwide. One of the main reasons the 1982 1-cent coin can be so valuable is due to the transitional error where the wrong metal planchet was used during minting. For instance, a small number of 1982 pennies were struck using the pre-1982 copper composition instead of the new zinc ones, or vice versa. These transitional errors are exceptionally rare because they represent mistakes during a moment of change at the mint, and collectors go crazy for these anomalies. A copper 1982 D small date cent is one of the rarest known errors, and when authenticated, it can bring in values that reach hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars because so few exist. Only a handful have been verified, making them a legendary discovery for anyone lucky enough to find one in their pocket change or coin jar. But that's just one part of the 1982 mystery. This was also the year when the mint used both large date and small date designs for the numerals in 1982. The difference lies mainly in the shape and alignment of the numbers, and these variations were produced across different mints, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The mix of compositions and date styles led to at least 7 recognized varieties of 1982 cents, and with the possibility of errors, off-center strikes, double dyes, and wrong planchets, some coins became one-of-a-kind treasures. Imagine how easy it would have been for a mint worker to accidentally feed the wrong metal planchet into a machine already set for another type, especially when both metals were being used at the same time. That's how rare hybrids like a copper 1982 D small date penny or a zinc 1982 large date penny struck with a copper planchet came into existence, and these coins now stand as numismatic marvels. The story doesn't end there. The allure of the 1982 penny lies not just in its transitional mix-ups, but also in the human fascination with imperfection, how a simple mistake can create something so valuable and unique. Over time, collectors began meticulously weighing their 1982 pennies because the difference between copper and zinc cents is easy to detect by weight. Copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams, while zinc ones weigh around 2.5 grams. It sounds simple, but hidden among millions of ordinary coins could be a treasure worth more than a luxury car, or in this legendary case, millions of dollars. The tale of the $75 million penny is built on the extraordinary rarity of a perfect storm of errors, transitional composition, die variations, mint mark placement mistakes, and double strikes that make the 1982 penny more like a work of art than a mere coin. Some examples have exhibited double dies on the date or the lettering, where the design appears duplicated due to a misalignment during striking. Others show repunched mint marks, where the D from Denver or the P for Philadelphia was struck twice or slightly off-center, adding to the coin's uniqueness. These minor details, invisible to the casual eye, make collectors spend hours under magnifiers hunting for a version that could change their lives. The 1982 cent also stands out in history because of how it represents a shift in America's monetary production, moving away from traditional copper that had symbolized the Lincoln cent for decades, to a cheaper, modern metal, marking the end of an era. Owning a genuine 1982 copper small-date penny or one with a combination of mint errors is like holding a piece of that transition, a tangible artifact of a moment when economics, technology, and human error collided in fascinating ways. Now, when we talk about a 1982 penny being worth $75 million, we're talking about the kind of unique specimen that brings together multiple extraordinary factors, perhaps a small-date Denver coin struck on a leftover copper planchet, with a double-die obverse, an off-center strike, and a full luster, uncirculated condition preserved in mint perfection. Such a coin, authenticated and graded by top institutions like PCGS or NGC, could easily become a record-breaking piece of numismatic history. When collectors and investors hear of such coins, it triggers worldwide excitement because these rare combinations often appear once in a lifetime. Some stories even suggest that a 1982 penny discovered in an old coin roll showed clear evidence of being struck on the wrong planchet, verified by weight and composition tests, causing a sensation among experts. But beyond the confirmed examples, the myth and mystery surrounding these coins amplify their allure. The idea that a tiny 1-cent coin could be worth millions captures the imagination of the public. People start searching their old jars, drawers, and piggy banks, hoping to uncover their own piece of history. The excitement is contagious, and every new discovery fuels the legend further. There's something incredibly poetic about the notion that a coin designed to represent the smallest unit of American currency could become one of the most valuable collectibles in the world, all because of human imperfection and historical timing. Think about it, a coin that once jingled in someone's pocket, perhaps spent on candy or dropped in change decades ago, now being worth enough to buy a mansion or a fleet of luxury cars. That's the magic of numismatics, the ability to find monumental value in the most ordinary objects. The 1982 1 cent is a perfect example of how history, error, and rarity intertwine to create something extraordinary. Another reason for the coin's extreme value is the possibility of it being struck with a die that was intended for a proof coin. Proof coins are typically struck with greater precision and care, using specially polished dies to create a mirror-like finish. If by chance a proof die was used for circulation or combined with a transitional planchet, the result would be a spectacular hybrid error, and in the world of high-end collecting, rarity drives price more than anything else. Every tiny detail counts: the surface quality, strike sharpness, alignment, and even microscopic characteristics can determine whether a coin is merely rare or absolutely unique. It's these unique examples that can leap in value from thousands to millions, and the 1982 penny is at the center of that excitement. Over the decades, rumors have circulated about ultra-rare 1982 cents held in private collections or yet to be discovered. Some believe that a handful of prototypes or experimental strikes might exist, coins created by the mint while testing the new zinc composition and accidentally released into circulation. These prototypes would technically be pattern coins, and their existence would make them invaluable pieces of US minting history. Because 1982 was such a transitional year, the mint records are complex, leaving room for speculation and myth. For numismatists, that's part of the allure, the hunt for the unknown. The 1982 cent has become one of the most analyzed and discussed coins in the Lincoln series, with experts, treasure hunters, and hobbyists all contributing to its legend. Some have even speculated that the $75 million valuation isn't just about rarity but also symbolic value, representing the pinnacle of what an era coin could be worth when rarity, demand, and mystique converge perfectly. A coin like that becomes more than metal; it becomes history, art, and legend combined. The stories surrounding finds of these coins often start in the most ordinary ways: a collector sorting through rolls from the bank, a curious person weighing coins out of boredom, or someone inheriting an old collection from a relative and discovering a strange anomaly among the pennies. Then, upon testing, they realize they have something extraordinary, an unexpected survivor from a chaotic minting period. The sheer number of varieties, 7 major ones plus unrecorded anomalies, makes 1982 a fascinating year for collectors to explore. The more you study it, the more you realize how easily an unnoticed minty. Next! Today we uncover one of the most fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting, a story that will make you look twice at every penny you find in your pocket change. Because what if I told you that a small and simple 1975 1-cent coin, something that should be worth only a single cent, has been rumored to be worth a jaw-dropping $65 million because of its incredible errors, rare mistakes, and unique minting anomalies that turned this everyday coin into a legendary treasure among numismatists, historians, and collectors worldwide, sparking excitement, debate, and obsession for decades. So buckle up as we dive deep into why this humble Lincoln cent from the Denver Mint could carry such an unbelievable value and what secrets lie within its metal that have fascinated experts for years. To begin, let's set the stage by understanding what made the 1975 1-cent coin so intriguing in the first place. In 1975, the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies, each bearing the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Victor David Brenner and Frank Gasparo respectively. The Denver Mint was a powerhouse of coin production, responsible for striking coins that circulated across the western United States. Yet, within that massive production, a few coins escaped the minting presses with flaws, imperfections, and variations so rare that they became priceless. The 1975 penny, in particular, stands out due to reports of dramatic die errors, double dies, off-center strikes, and even wrong planchette errors that combine to create coins that are not just unusual but nearly impossible to replicate. One of the most significant and discussed errors associated with this coin is the double die obverse. On certain specimens, collectors have found that the date 1975 and the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust show evidence of doubling, where the design appears slightly overlapped or shadowed due to a misalignment during the hubbing process. Such an error occurs when the die receives more than one impression from the hub but in slightly different positions, resulting in a coin that looks as if its letters or numbers are doubled. For the trained eye of a collector, this doubling creates instant fascination, as it's a hallmark of minting anomalies that can catapult a coin's value into the millions. Another factor adding to the 1975 penny's mystique is the presence of wrong planchette errors. During this time, planchets for different denominations sometimes got mixed up at the mint. A 1975 penny struck on a dime planchette, for example, would be smaller, thinner, and composed of a copper-nickel alloy instead of the usual bronze composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Such a coin would not only look strange but also weigh less than the standard 3.11 grams, perhaps closer to 2.3 grams, instantly making it an extraordinary rarity. Likewise, a penny struck on a foreign coin planchette, since the Denver Mint was sometimes contracted to produce coins for other countries, could create a coin that defies all normal expectations, with unique coloration, size, and metal content that could not be explained through normal minting processes. Beyond that, off-center strikes add another layer of intrigue. These occur when a blank planchette is not properly seated in the collar during striking, resulting in coins with designs that are shifted, sometimes so drastically that parts of the date or inscriptions are missing. Depending on the degree of the misalignment, these coins can range from minor curiosities to incredible rarities, especially when the mint mark and date remain fully visible despite the off-center strike. The 1975 penny is rumored to exist in a few such forms, with off-center strikes exceeding 50%, making them highly desirable for serious collectors who crave coins that visibly show the mechanical error of the minting process. Another possible reason for this coin's astronomical valuation is the existence of die cracks and cuds. Die cracks are small raised lines that appear on the surface of a coin due to fractures in the die itself, while cuds are blobs of extra metal resulting from a broken die edge. These features make every affected coin unique, as no two die cracks ever look exactly the same. The 1975 penny with large die cracks running through Lincoln's portrait or connecting the letters in Liberty has been particularly admired by error collectors, and when combined with other anomalies like doubling or planchette errors, the value can skyrocket to mind-blowing levels. What makes this story even more fascinating is the context of 1975 itself. That year, the U.S. Mint did not produce any quarters or half dollars for circulation, focusing instead on other denominations, so the production pressure on the Denver Mint was high. With billions of pennies struck, the likelihood of quality control issues increased dramatically. Some mint workers were inexperienced or operating under older machinery, and during the hubbing process or the die preparation phase, minor inconsistencies could easily become major minting errors. Over time, the combination of human oversight and mechanical imperfection gave birth to coins like the legendary 1975 D penny that today are believed to be among the rarest numismatic treasures. Collectors also speculate about transitional errors that might have occurred. Transitional errors happen when a coin is struck with materials or dies intended for another year or metal composition change. While the big metal transition didn't officially happen until 1982, there's still the possibility that experimental planches or misdated dies might have been used or tested during this time. A 1975 D penny struck on a prototype or experimental planchet, for example, could represent a missing link in minting history, the kind of anomaly that numismatic historians dream about. Some rumors even suggest that a few 1975 D pennies may have been accidentally struck on leftover 1943 steel planches, creating an ultra-rare hybrid between two completely different minting eras. If true, such a coin would be worth far more than gold itself. Moreover, condition plays a vital role in determining value. A regular 1975 D penny in average circulated condition is only worth a cent, maybe slightly more to a casual collector. But a flawless error coin preserved in mint state condition, graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, instantly becomes a treasure. Grading amplifies the market value because it provides authentication, professional documentation, and assurance to buyers that they are looking at a genuine error and not a counterfeit. Counterfeits do exist, and many have attempted to replicate rare error pennies, but the precise characteristics of authentic mint errors, such as die markers, weight variations, and strike patterns, are extremely difficult to reproduce. For this reason, a verified 1975 D penny with multiple authentic errors could easily command tens of millions at auction, as its combination of rarity, condition, and provenance make it irreplaceable. The myth of the $65 million valuation likely originated from private collector circles, where word spread of a coin that displayed nearly every type of major minting error imaginable. Imagine a single penny that is double struck, off-center, struck on a wrong planchet, with die cracks and doubling all visible to the naked eye. The odds of such a combination occurring naturally are astronomical, possibly one in hundreds of millions, which is why if even one such coin exists, its rarity surpasses anything else in circulation. Auction houses have witnessed similar miracles before. Coins like the 1943 copper penny and the 1955 double die cent have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, setting precedents that make a multi-million-dollar penny seem plausible. The 1975 D penny's legend has continued to grow due to its scarcity and the passion of those hunting for it. Stories circulate of collectors finding unusual 1975 D pennies in old rolls of coins, inherited collections, or forgotten jars, only to realize later that they might have held a fortune in their hands. Some specimens show partial brockages, where one coin is struck on top of another, leaving an inverted and mirrored impression of Lincoln's profile. Others feature clipped planches, where a small crescent-shaped piece of metal is missing from the rim due to a misfeed during the blank cutting process. Each of these varieties adds to the mystique and possibility that multiple unique error types could have been produced that year. Beyond its physical attributes, the cultural and historical significance of the 1975 D penny also boosts its perceived value. Coins are tangible connections to history. They carry not just metal but meaning, representing moments in time, technology, and human effort. The Denver Mint's 1975 production symbolizes an era when coinage was still heavily dependent on mechanical precision rather than digital oversight. Every imperfection became a snapshot of the Mint's limitations and humanity's pursuit of perfection. In the modern collector's market, nostalgia and narrative add tremendous value. A coin that tells a story, especially one of mystery, error, and discovery, captures imaginations far beyond its face value. That's part of why coins like the 1975 D penny inspire fascination. The $65 million figure, while likely symbolic, expresses more than just monetary worth. It reflects the priceless wonder of uncovering something unique and irreplaceable from everyday life. There are even whispers of prototype strikes or test pieces made at the Denver Mint that never should have left the facility. Today we're talking about one of the most intriguing coins ever to spark collectors' curiosity, the 1977 1-cent coin, a coin that, despite its humble denomination, has shocked the numismatic world with its rumored valuation of up to $55 million due to a combination of striking errors, minting mistakes, and unique features that make it one of the rarest and most mysterious pennies in circulation. At first glance, a 1977 penny might look just like any other Lincoln cent, copper-colored, bearing the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but beneath its seemingly ordinary appearance lies a web of minting anomalies, production inconsistencies, and rare conditions that have turned certain examples into some of the most desirable collectibles in coin history. To truly understand how a single penny could command such an astronomical value, we need to explore not just its history, but the intricate world of minting processes, the types of errors that occurred during its production, and the small yet significant details that separate a common coin from one worth millions. The year 1977 was an interesting period for the United States Mint, which at the time was dealing with massive production volumes as the penny remained a core part of daily commerce. The Mint produced billions of cents across its facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. With such large-scale output, occasional mistakes were inevitable, but in rare cases, those mistakes created something truly extraordinary. Among these were coins struck on the wrong planchets being the blank metal discs that become coins after striking. Some 1977 Lincoln cents have been discovered struck on dime planchets or foreign coin blanks, resulting in coins that are lighter, thinner, and smaller than normal, with partial designs or missing edges. Such errors are considered highly desirable because they provide a direct glimpse into the minting process and its rare moments of human or mechanical oversight. When you hold a coin like that, you're not just holding a piece of money, you're holding a minting accident that slipped through the tightest of quality control systems. But the 1977 penny's story doesn't end there. Another factor adding to its mystique is the transition period of U.S. coinage composition. Although the full transition to copper-plated zinc didn't occur until 1982, subtle variations in the copper alloy used during the 1970s led to coins with slightly different hues, weights, and metallic properties. Some 1977 cents appear with unusual surface tones or different levels of luster, leading experts to suspect experimental alloy batches or planchet inconsistencies. Collectors who find coins that deviate from standard specifications, such as weight differences even by a small fraction of a gram, often send them for professional grading or metallurgical testing, and when a coin is proven to have an anomaly in metal content, it can skyrocket in value due to its rarity. In addition to planchet and composition errors, the 1977 cent is notorious for its striking errors. Double dies, where a coin design is impressed twice at slightly different angles, are among the most sought-after mistakes in the coin world, and the 1977 Lincoln cent is known to have several varieties of double die errors, especially in the date, the word liberty, and the phrase "In God we trust." Under magnification, collectors can see clear doubling in the letters or numbers, giving the coin a ghost-like duplication that makes it distinct from normal strikes. These errors often occur due to a misalignment in the die during the hubbing process, and since each die is only used for a limited run before being replaced, a few dozen or even a few hundred coins might carry that specific error before the issue is corrected. That limited window of production is precisely what makes them so rare and valuable today. Another intriguing variety is the broad strike error, where a coin is struck without the restraining collar that shapes its edges, causing the penny to expand outward and lose its defined rim. Broad strikes from 1977 are dramatic and visually stunning, with distorted edges and stretched designs that clearly show something went awry during minting. Then there are off-center strikes, where the coin design is imprinted slightly or significantly off the center of the planchet, sometimes so much that parts of the design are missing entirely. A 1977 penny with a major off-center strike and full visible date can fetch thousands of dollars, but when combined with other errors, such as a double die or planchet issue, it can reach astronomical values in auctions. These compound errors are especially prized because the odds of multiple mistakes occurring on the same coin are incredibly low, making them 1 in a billion finds. And yet, reports and auction records have surfaced over the years of 1977 cents with such extraordinary characteristics that their values have soared far beyond normal collector ranges, giving birth to the legend of the $55 million 1977 1-cent coin. While some might question such high valuations, they often stem from a mix of verified sales, private collector offers, and the growing fascination in the numismatic market for one-of-a-kind minting errors. Beyond mechanical mistakes, environmental and post-mint conditions have also added to the fascination surrounding certain 1977 cents. Coins that have retained their original red luster despite being over 4 decades old are rare because copper tarnishes easily, and maintaining such pristine condition requires either unusual storage conditions or sheer luck. A full red graded 1977 cent by PCGS or NGC can already be worth several $100s even without errors, but when paired with a major mint anomaly, it can jump into the tens of thousands. Now imagine a coin that not only has a flawless red finish but also a dramatic double die, a minor off-center strike, and a slightly underweight planchette. That combination could easily push the value into the millions, especially if verified as a unique specimen. Some stories even suggest that certain 1977 pennies were struck on experimental foreign planchets, possibly intended for other nations' coinage but accidentally fed into US presses. Coins with unusual metallic tones, slightly silvery, golden, or even grayish, might indicate such an origin, and when authenticated, they represent tangible proof of mint experimentation or cross-contamination of blanks, both of which are extremely rare occurrences. The 1977 pennies mystery is further deepened by the evolving demand in the collector market. In the 1970s and 1980s, coin collecting was largely a hobby for enthusiasts, but today, with social media and global auction platforms, the discovery of an unusual coin can go viral overnight, driving speculative prices and intense bidding wars. This modern phenomenon has breathed new life into older coins like the 1977 cent, with treasure hunters combing through rolls of pennies in hopes of finding the next $1 million error. Some experts theorize that a particularly rare 1977 penny could have been a prototype or die test piece, especially given subtle differences in the design's relief and the sharpness of certain elements on known error examples. If even one coin was confirmed to have been part of such an experimental batch, its historical significance would amplify its value exponentially. Furthermore, mint mark placement anomalies, especially on 1977 D cents struck in Denver, have fueled speculation about a batch of coins where the mint mark D was punched in the wrong position or using a misaligned punch. These small visual differences might seem trivial, but in numismatics, they're everything. A shifted mint mark or repunched mint mark, RPM, can turn a common cent into a collector's grail. For example, some 1977 D pennies exhibit a repunched mint mark that shows doubling or a shadow effect, an error that can fetch thousands even in circulated condition. When combined with other striking peculiarities, its market value grows exponentially, leading to astronomical price estimates like the $55 million figure cited among collectors. Another dimension of value lies in the psychological and historical significance of the 1977 penny. The late 1970s marked the last full decade of the pure copper penny before the shift to zinc in 1982, and that makes coins from this era a sort of last-of-their-kind relic, especially those in top condition. Collectors often view them as a symbol of the end of traditional US coin minting before cost-cutting and metal changes transformed the currency forever. The nostalgia, coupled with scarcity and error combinations, creates the perfect storm for extraordinary valuation. Imagine discovering a 1977 penny that combines a double die obverse, a weak strike reverse, a repunched mint mark, and flawless uncirculated luster. Such a coin could theoretically represent the only known example of its type, making it priceless in a market where rarity dictates everything. Auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers have repeatedly seen bidding wars for coins far less rare than this hypothetical piece, so the possibility of a single coin reaching $55 million, while extreme, isn't entirely outlandish when viewed through the lens of collectible economics, where uniqueness can trump all conventional valuation metrics. Moreover, the condition and grading play enormous roles in determining value.